Okay. Hi, good morning. Please find your seats. Well, you've already done that. And to those of you who are here in the sanctuary, I'd like to remind you that the service is being streamed on YouTube. And to those of you watching on YouTube, we're glad to have you watching. And of course, we would rather have you in person, but still, thank you for being here. Let us remind you to read the announcements in your printed order of service. Also, and especially, be sure to read the weekly events that are emailed to you on Thursday, as well as the unigram and the website. I urge you to keep our website, your website, open as a tab on your internet browser so that you can keep up with what's happening here. Also remember that although we are not in quarantine, we must practice social distancing, mask wearing per the guidelines of posted signs and reopening statements that you've all read many times. Our resident health expert is Emilio Jorge Perez, and he reminds us that the number of COVID cases is increasing and expected to increase more, so do not take chances. We don't want you to lose you or your loved ones. And sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I had to run to my car to get something right before coming here. And today's flowers are from the CYRE committee. And I don't have my write-up about the flowers, but we're really grateful to have them here and grateful for the support of our congregation that uplifts our program here with our kids. And now let's center ourselves for today's service and remember to silence all electronic devices as Anna plays the prelude.
Our prelude for today's water communion service is Dancing Barefoot in the Rain from African Sketches by Nigerian composer Nkiru Okoye.
Thank you, Anna. So please stand and join in the congregational covenant as found in your order of service. Love is a doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. My name is Mackenzie, and I'm your service leader of the day. Our minister is the Reverend Stephen Robinson, and on those Sundays when Stephen is not in the pulpit, we present a variety of interesting speakers from this congregation or from recognized guests from the wider community. So you have to keep returning to see what exciting service is next. Unitarian Universalism is a non-creedal religion. We are a covenantal religion, which means we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other with respect, compassion, and dignity. Equity as well. Our community is based on deeds, not creeds. As Unitarian Universalists, we side with love, embracing all people regardless of age, color, race, socioeconomic status, physical ability, or religious background. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we also embrace LGBTQ individuals. We encourage everyone to wear name tags so that we can get to know each other better. Board members wear green name tags, and they always welcome your comments, questions, and suggestions. Would the members of our Board of Trustees please stand so that you may be recognized? Thank you. At this time, we'd like to recognize any guests or visitors that are with us today. So if you're willing and able, please stand, and Reverend Stephen will bring the microphone to you if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, so that's where I went to UU Church there. So,
Oh, welcome.
welcome, Matt.
Hi. Oh, yes. Hello, my name is Khalil. It's Arabic, I'm sorry, I didn't choose it. I go to USC. I've been watching the live streams on YouTube, so hello to people on YouTube. So I thought I would come in person and see what it's all about. So thank you for your warm welcomes.
Thanks for being here. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm getting my Master's of Social Work at USC, and I haven't found a church in a year. And so last night I was Googling and found this, and it kind of aligns more so with my beliefs. So I thought I would try it out.
Welcome. Great. We're excited you guys are here. Y'all are here, and also, welcome to everybody, all our members and regulars. Glad you're here too. Today's chalice lighter is Scott Sargent, who is our Director of Religious Exploration for our kids. They never want to work when you need them to. There you go. Yes.
All right, thank you. I had the script for the flowers, so sorry for Mackenzie for leaving you hanging on that. The flowers are donated in honor of the CYRE program, which is starting again next week. And we're donating these flowers to recognize our members of the staff who help us out so much during the year, our teachers, of course, our families, our volunteers, and our wonderful students. Now, a little bit later in the program today, Mackenzie and I will have some more words about our curriculum. So in order to keep my remarks brief, I'll just leave you with two things I'd like for you to think about that connect with community. We were looking for a theme for this year, and one of the words that we thought was solace. So think of that word for a few moments until we come back. And the other one we want to think about is continuity. Okay, so thank you for your time. We'll be seeing you a little bit later.
Thank you, Scott.
I invite you to center yourself and listen to our opening musical meditation, Evening Breeze from Circle of Song. This morning you should also hear the sounds of your fellow congregants spreading water around you. Evening breeze, spirit song, sings to me when the day is done. Mother Earth awakens me with the heartbeat of the sea. Evening breeze, Mother Earth awakens me with the heartbeat of the sea. Ah, 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 ah. Evening breeze, spirit song, sings to me when the day is done. Mother Earth awakens me with the heartbeat of the sea.
Thank you, Anna, and the many who were helping provide the sensory experience of our water this morning. Beautiful. Our opening words today come from Mel Hoover and Rose Eddington, and they are entitled, All Water is One Water. Water unites us. All water is one water, shape-shifting as it goes on and on in its unending cycle. The stream we gather by unites us with all the waters of the world, for all life depends on water. That's why this common, everyday element on which our very lives depend is sacred. In our thankfulness for water, let us remember to honor, cherish, and care for it, for our own lives, for all life touched by water, and for those who come after us. Water is a symbol today in our water communion of our connection together as community. And one of the ways we hold that space in community is lighting candles for each other and for our own concerns and joys that we are bringing into this space so that the community can hold it, care for each other, support each other in what we are experiencing. So as this time we're going to light candles, and I invite you, if you're willing, to come and light a candle. If you grab a candle as you come in, if you have a candle of concern each week, there are some in the foyer, and briefly share what you are celebrating or what concern that you are bringing to this space, and let this community wrap their arms around you.
Most of you know me. I'm Ginny Verne. Several of you were here a couple years ago when our daughter Sarah spoke about fostering. She and her family have not had a child through the summer, except for temporary respite care. But in the middle of the night last night, they got a tiny, she said, 16-month-old boy for long term. So I light this candle for Sarah and her family and for that precious little baby boy that they'll be caring for.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see you. I'm Connie CYRE, if you need a little reminder. My joy is that I've decided to leave a toxic job. My concern is that I have a contract, and even though I have a valid reason to break it, they're going to make it difficult. So please send good vibes into the cosmos for me.
Good morning, I'm Morgan. Last week, Mary lit a candle for to commemorate the death of a dear friend of hers, Ruth Ann Fox Hines, and we went to her memorial service yesterday. The day before yesterday, I got a call from the younger brother of a dear childhood friend of mine, a man named Patrick. Lived in Gainesville, Florida, where we grew up, both faculty brats at the University of Florida. And his brother said that he had passed away. He died from a heart attack the previous night. And so I'm grieving about that.
I sent this by email, but apparently it didn't get through. My niece gave birth to Olivia on August 24th, and Olivia wasn't due until December 8th. So she weighs about 1.5 pounds, but she's getting good care, and so we just please send strong thoughts to all the family. Thank you.
Hello again, I'm Bruce. Everybody knows me, I hope. I just want to say thank you to all who thoughts, prayers for Nicholas and myself, and all the kind gestures and cards. If we could keep the thoughts and prayers coming, we would appreciate it for Nicholas and myself. This is for this.
Hi, I'm Chuck. I had a good friend pass away this week. His name was James Hatcher. His passing left a really big hole in the life of 2 girls who were very important to me, my daughter and my granddaughter. They're suffering a lot from his loss and will continue to do so. So rest in peace, Hatch. I forgive you. Please forgive me.
I wanted to light a candle for Sam Cruz, who was born August 23rd, and it's beautiful, and my girlfriend's first grandchild.
I'd like to light candle for Stephanie Palmer Smith's sister who passed away last weekend, Amy.
I have several candles that have been emailed in, so we'll light them here for Deb, who already shared about the little precious baby struggling in Raleigh, I believe, in the NICU there, and for Stephanie and for Adam and the loss of his mother. So we light that candle. And then several members have asked me to light a candle for the many healthcare workers in our healthcare systems that are working under such stressful conditions these days and often experiencing protest and hostility in the midst of trying to do their jobs. And a gentle reminder from many as well for all of those in the healthcare system that do all of the support work as well in the hospitals. And definitely we were remembering Louisiana, as Ida is just hours away, I guess, maybe not even that long at this point. And then the last candle I have is for Andrea Dudick and her family, who's our church administrator. Her sister Valerie died on August 23rd. So Andrea is grateful. She always gets me when I call her Andrea, so I have to fix that. Andrea is grateful for the care and her ability to be there for the past 2 weeks to care for her sister, and definitely for the concern and support from the UUCC. And our last candle that we light today is for all of those joys and concerns that you're holding in your heart, even in this close community that you need to hold close in intimacy, but know that they're in silence, being supported and held by each other. I invite you now to a time of silence to remember all that you've heard, all that you've felt, and to pour your love and support to each other and community. Thank you. As we move to preparing for our offering, this is a reminder that throughout the month of August, we have been sharing the plate with the Palmetto Place Children and Youth Services, and it is my pleasure today to welcome back Courtney Tidwell, who is going to share a little bit about the great work.
Good morning. Pardon my voice, I get a little teary-eyed when people do stuff like light candles. So my name is Courtney Tidwell. I'm Community Outreach Coordinator for Palmetto Place Children and Youth Services. A few weeks back, Sean was up here telling you guys about some of our services that we provide. So just to recap, we have a shelter here in West Columbia that provides housing to unaccompanied youth, which are homeless teenagers, typically ages 16 to 21. But we've also implemented an aftercare program that Sean didn't really touch on, so I wanted to just update you guys on the progress of that program. So in 2019, we recognized that although our youth were graduating and going out into independence from our programs, we were having youth, 12, 16 months later, come back and be like, hey, I'm homeless again. So we decided to implement our aftercare program. So whenever a youth exits Palmetto Place, they are paired with our aftercare case manager, and they can work with that case manager for up to a year after they exit us to make sure that they're not falling back into these cycles of homelessness. A lot of times these youth will have family that neglected them for so long, and then now their family sees that they're on a come up and they have their own apartment, and now they're moving their brother, sister, aunt, uncle, everybody and their mama into their apartment and not helping them at all, and then the youth is getting trapped back into the cycle. So with the help of our case manager and some interventions, we're able to sit down with these youth and say, hey, are these the right moves that you're making for sustainability for yourself for the future? We know that you have a big heart and that you want to help your family, but first you've really got to be on your foundation and your 2 feet. So the aftercare program is going really well. We also this year started doing rapid rehousing and emergency housing. So we have another case manager that meets with youth because federally homeless youth is defined up to age 24. But we can't house anybody in our shelter past 21 due to our DSS regulations and things like that. However, our aftercare case manager and our rapid rehousing case manager can go out into the community and work with homeless youth between the ages of 21 to 24 to see if they qualify for federal funding to get into their own apartment that will help pay for first month's rent and security deposit. So all in all, we are Palmetto Place Children and Youth Services because we are providing more than just shelter. We're providing these life skills. We're providing aftercare case management as well. Thank you guys so much for all that you're doing for our youth with the Share the Plate this month. If you are looking to help in any other ways, we have our second annual Hero Hustle 5K coming up on Saturday, September 25th. You get to dress up like a superhero out at Timmerman Trail and race the 5K. I'm gonna post a challenge on our Facebook, so add us on Facebook. I'm not a runner, so it should be pretty easy for you to beat my numbers. And so Besides that, I'm also the volunteer coordinator, so you can email me at Courtney, spelled the traditional way, COURTNEY, at palmettoplace.org to get involved. Thank you again for your time and for your contributions.
Thank you, Courtney, and please communicate to your colleagues that it is our great pleasure and honor to partner with you in the good work that you're doing in our community. If you would like to donate to Share the Plate, then you can do so by writing a check and writing on the memo line, Share the Plate, or put it in an offering envelope. And of course, you can also donate online through our website. This time I invite our ushers to come and receive our morning offering.
Our offertory music selection this morning is On the Seashore by Felix Mendelssohn from his songs Without Words.
Thank you. We received these good gifts, which is one of our symbols here in this worship experience of our generosity and our dedication and commitment to the work of the UUCC. Today is a fun and exciting ritual that we have each year entitled Water Communion. It's an opportunity in our congregation to bring an end to the summer, which is always quite odd here in Columbia. If we were truly going to make it feel like we were bringing an end to a summer, we would have water communion sometime in December. It's just so odd to say it's fall now and walk outside and it's 95 degrees. Yay, autumn's here. But this is a time of us bringing summer to a close and reuniting together back in community, beginning our CYRE program and the work that is going forward, which is why we wanted to celebrate this water communion today as we kick off next week the CYRE program. Often around Labor Day holiday, water communion is celebrated by Unitarian Universalists around the world as a symbol of reuniting and recommitting back to the work of the congregation and reconnecting back in community. Water being the sacred symbol that unites us together with all of creation, all of things around us, all of the web of existence around us. It is a beautiful symbol that gives us an opportunity to connect and share and tell what water means to us, or maybe something of our experience over the summer. Often members are encouraged to bring water to this place that is from a place where you traveled or something significant in your own life and pour into a common bowl together. And so we have an opportunity to celebrate this ritual. For me, water involved 2 oceans this summer. As I traveled to the West Coast, postponed senior trip for a year later with my daughter who graduated from high school. And upon graduating, I'd asked that we drive up the coast of California through the Big Sur and into Monterey and San Francisco, seeing the sights and the beauty there. And being able to travel in a convertible was a very COVID-safe thing to do. I will tell you that if you ever are traveling through for 5 hours in a convertible, when you put sunscreen on, remember your legs. That's all I'm going to say about that. Only one leg, too. I can show you pictures. It's very, very painful. But my daughter, oftentimes when she experiences something new, wants to make sure that we experience it in silence. I remember as her first day home from the hospital, we walked outside into the yard, and I began to show her around the yard outside and introduce her to the trees in the front yard. And she was only 3 days old at this point. And talking to her about the trees, I noticed that as she was born in September, some of the leaves were starting to turn to different colors, but the pine trees were not. And so I went into a whole story about why the pine needles were maintaining their green and based on their cell structure and an ability to maintain water. And she gave me this look even as a 3-day-old that she still gives me today as a 20-year-old, which looks something like this. And so I knew to be silent when she stepped into the Pacific Ocean for the first time. And then we traveled just a few weeks ago for a couple of days in South Myrtle Beach, and she wanted to step into the Atlantic Ocean and do it once again in silence and experience the vastness of our world around us and that connectivity. And then, of course, out of the silence, being a 20-year-old, she said, you know, when Forrest Gump did this, he then turned around and went back to California. We should do that. Well, we did not. Water is such an important part of our lives, and each year as we gather for this and connect with each other around this symbol of water, there are so many things that float through my mind around what water brings and what it represents as this congregation comes and shares different experiences of water. Oftentimes, this symbol in this ceremony is meant to remind us of the scarcity of water and the many people around us, around the world, who have a lack of access to safe and affordable water. Maybe it reminds us of areas of drought, and having been to California recently, knowing that the farmers are losing so much through fires and through dryness, while we experience abundance, it seems, to water supply. So oftentimes in this day, when we share our water, we remind ourselves of the scarcity and commit ourselves to do something about that in our world around us. Oftentimes when we gather with symbols of water, we are sharing water of our travels and our journeys together. I remember one year when we were in this space, someone shared from an iceberg, which I thought was just a beautiful symbol. And I wondered, my mind went back to the movie Waterboy, and I wondered, is the water still cold? They've been holding it for so long. Some of y'all haven't seen Waterboy, I can tell. I'm not saying add it to your to-watch list either. But what a beautiful symbol of connecting back and sharing the story of where you've traveled and where you've been, things that have been transformational for you as you gather into this space, whether they're spiritual or physical journeys that you've been experiencing. Oftentimes, waters symbolize a storm, and it's already been mentioned that Ida is making its way, has already made its way across Cuba and other islands, and is getting ready for landfall in Louisiana for yet another hurricane to that area. Water often symbolizes these storms, whether they're literal physical storms or our storms in our lives that we are remembering during this time, the tumultuous waters that shake us back and forth and make us wonder, where is our foundation? Where is our strength? Where are we going to find support in the midst of these rocky waves? And then, of course, the water that sustains us, the well springs of our life, the things that give us hope, the things that give us joy, the things that buoy us up in those times in our lives when we're feeling low. And these are just a few symbols that water can bring into this space and an experience of water communion. I recognize today that during all of our COVID protocols, I'm not sure if everyone knew the ability to come and share water. And so if you did not bring water today, but would like to also come and pour a little bit of water into a bowl, then you can do so. We have a couple of different pitchers up here, a little vase and a pitcher where you can pour water and speak to what it symbolizes for you. So at this time, I invite you to our water communion, invite you to come and share briefly what it is that you are bringing into this space. May this water be blessed as we commune together.
Chuck again with Bud this time. You may remember last year we shared with you that we have a son with a traumatic brain injury. And this time last year he had just managed to stand up in the shower for the first time. He was injured in 2016, so last year he stood up for the first time in the shower. We poured out shower water for him. This year, after having had a year of physical therapy, he not only stands up in the shower, he gives himself a shower.
All by himself.
This is for you, Jesse.
This water is from Vermont when I was returning from my mom's memorial service just a couple weeks ago.
This is from a 2,000-mile journey on my bike to the downtown airport and back.
So this water represents a fabulous summer full of jacuzzis and pools and rivers and lakes with my family. But it also represents a pool party that's going to happen at 2 o'clock this afternoon, because we're going to gather with a whole bunch of Noel's friends and some family, and he is going to celebrate his 21st birthday.
I didn't plan this, but I happened to bring my water bottle with me. It has a little bit of water from my apartment that I moved into on the 1st of this month. So it's just like sort of a new beginning and getting ready for the new semester.
This water that I'm bringing today is probably the most expensive water that has ever come from the Mingy household. This represents the Atlantic Ocean and the Thames, the River Thames in London. Not only was this emotional and overdue trip important, but it was involved in it were hurdles and expenses caused by the pandemic and our desire to get to England. Over coffee, I can detail, or not over virtual coffee. I can share some of this, but suffice it to say, international travel in July and August is challenging indeed, but it was worth it.
The shires offer water from Maine's many rivers and harbors, including the Bay of Fundy, where we sat at a little pub in Lubec and gazed at Canada across the river, so near and yet so far, because it was still closed. And also our son's new apartment.
You can stand close to me.
I do that a lot.
Many of you know that we usually have water from travels, but we haven't gotten to travel for a long time. We have, I didn't bring the water because it would have to come from the bird bath, and we didn't want to take the water away from the birds. We have had to adapt because we didn't have our travels, and the water that we have enjoyed now for the since March of last year was with the birds and the nature in our backyard that takes a lot of water. And the bird bath and the bird feeder and our beautiful trees have been our source of enjoyment. We just sit and watch them. And a bird bath gets scummy really fast. And that would have been scummy water. But it's been a new adventure that we have really come to enjoy. It's just the beauty of the water in the backyard and our water bill. It's been a lovely new adventure, and it's all because of water. So we'll use this.
Not too exciting water, it's just from home. And I just finished a book that showed me how important water is for trees. You don't think about it that much, but they do require a lot of water, and so here's for trees. Those of you.
I guess I could take this off. Oh. So I was debating whether to share, and when I heard Lubec, I decided yes. This is Columbia water that we're grateful for, but it represents the water, the Atlantic Ocean, where, how can I put, the Atlantic Ocean in the Bay of Fundy, off Lubec, Maine, my favorite place so far in the world, and a place where, when we were there a few weeks ago, we took our second granddaughter at 15, was still willing to go with us and still wanted to go just with the two of us, and 3-hour trip from where we are in Maine, and still wanted to be the easternmost kid in the United States of America, leaning on her little corner in the fence, and who turned 16 today, and so was born, as Bill reminded me this morning, on the day Katrina happened, and turned 16 today. So this is for you, Audrey.
I'm Pippin Whitaker, and this is my dad, Bob Whitaker. You can say your own name, but I also do remember it. We wanted to share a little water, didn't bring any today, kind of about the mystery of how water brings us together. I could have brought tap water from their house because we lived here for 5 years and then we were away for 5 years and now we're back, and we're overjoyed to be back sharing water, having lunch together on Sundays and spending time together. And we could have brought water from the faucet over there because we're happy to be back. And today we're also worried about the overabundance of water right now in New Orleans, where my brother is living and working as an officer, and the scarcity of water that leads to fires. It's the mysterious way that water brings us together, good and bad.
And her brother and our son goes on his shift starts at 7 o'clock tonight. I think they're on 7 or 12-hour shifts now. He's a cop in New Orleans who went through Katrina, so we're all hoping for the best.
Good morning. I wanted to speak on behalf of all of the animals all over the world, that many species are endangered, facing extinction. I have the honor of taking care of mammals at Riverbank Zoo, the water systems for the seals, sea lions, otters, penguins, grizzly bears, and it's great to see them being able to frolic and be safe from the perils of nature, which includes, in some cases, water shortages throughout the planet. I took quite a few water courses in college at USC here. One of the things that we don't talk about that affects so many things is overpopulation. And one of the things that as we go forward in the future, unfortunately, water has become so important to us. Wars are being waged over water in some parts of the world. So I think it's important we recognize at a global level how much water has so much of an effect on everything globally. So it's great to be here for this water communion.
Good morning. My name is Tom, and generally my thoughts about water are more serious than what I'm going to relate. But many of you who have been tourists in Florida can perhaps understand my sentiments. Recently, I drove all the way down to Miami to visit some friends who were from Costa Rica getting vaccinated, and I'd been there in the Peace Corps, so I've maintained contact with them quite a long time. And I visited friends on the way back, and I realized as I was approaching Jacksonville that I was nearing the Fountain of Youth. And my family had gone there in one of the few vacations we took when I was about 10 years old. So I realized I could go back and go to the place and see what it looked like. So I'll admit, I consumed 3 hefty cups of that water. And as I was leaving, I knew that I had done the right thing and this was really going to help me. I got back to Columbia several days later, and in consultation with friends, I realized it must be a time-release formula. And I've been thinking that the last month and a half. But now, I'm not so sure. I bought a bottle of the water to give to my friend in Jacksonville, and I asked the clerk if it was guaranteed. She assured me it was guaranteed. So now I'm faced with either driving all the way back down there to St. Augustine or placing my faith in helping health problems and other stuff in other places like daily bike ride and diet. So I'm still on the fence about it, but it was quite an experience with water when most of my experiences are out in nature and enjoying it and worrying about the drought out west. But I still have a little bit of hope, and I'm sure that some of you may have had the same experience. Thank you.
Hello again. I couldn't let this pass by. This represents a place that I have not been to in a very long time, and I wish I could go back, called Starwood. It's in upstate New York. It's a music festival and all kinds of other festivals they have. I've seen some really amazing, unbelievable things at this particular festival. And this represents Starwood for me and Nick, myself and Nick. Peace, hope, especially hope, and healing. That's Starwood.
Hi. I didn't bring any water, but I'm going to use this behind me. This whole thing kind of reminded me that I needed to be more like water. I have a lot of changes going on in my personal life, and so Pocahontas said it best. What I love most about rivers is you can't step in the same river twice. The water's always changing, always flowing. Okay.
So I'm gonna put some water here because we're all made of water. About 75% of our bodies are made of water. There's a lot of hate nowadays, but I want to remind people that the water inside us is the same, no matter if you're white or black or yellow or red, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, we're all in this together. So there's same water for everybody.
I'm Caroline Eastman, and like many of you, we haven't traveled very much this past year or longer, but it's important to remember that the water has. The water travels all over the world. The water that fell in Columbia a few days ago is on its way to the Atlantic, and some of it may be there already. We'll get some of it back. May go to Africa, may go to Europe. So we're living with world travel water.
Thank you all for sharing. And this last bit of water I pour in for those who are watching live and would like to participate. As I pour the water, you can speak out loud, even though we can't hear you. Speak out loud what water means to you and connect with this group and community together. Please join me in a blessing of this water. This water is sacred, made sacred by the many hands who have poured it and shared a piece of themselves. It's sacred as it connects us together to begin another year of spiritual community. This water is sacred as it blesses this community, providing hope and a reminder of our collective responsibility to one another and the world. May this blessed water remind us that we are blessed and surrounded by a deep and abiding love. This time, Scott and Mackenzie are going to come and share as we celebrate the beginning of the CYRE year.
Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good morning, Mackenzie. I'm pretty excited because it's that time of year when we're about to begin our new year of the CYRE program. You know what I always say, the more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go.
I think Dr. Seuss may have said that first. And this year, our teachers will enjoy reading some classic children's stories by Dr. Seuss and other authors to our pre-K kids. And here are a few now. You're probably familiar with these. Oh, The Things You Can Think and The Lorax, for example.
That's a good trick, Mackenzie. You got anything else for us for show and tell?
Oh, I do, actually. Our kindergartners are going to be enjoying a curriculum called Spirit Play, where they get to enjoy stories such as a story about this little character. He's a very well-dressed bear who has a concern, but none of his friends are listening. And this story is I Have a Little Problem, Said the Bear, by Heinz Janisch.
Our 2nd through 5th graders will be learning from a curriculum known as the Spirit of Adventure. I'm really excited about this one. It explores the students' UU identities by allowing them to explore the lives of some UUs who have accomplished some great things. And you're thinking of the usual ones that you know about, but there are a lot who are more obscure, and we don't wish to so much celebrate their accomplishments as celebrate their characters. So we're looking forward to that.
And in middle school, we'll be delving into Eastern religions. I wonder if some of our middle schoolers are curious about that Buddha statue, or maybe all of you might be curious about the statue you tend to see in restaurants, the big-bellied one that you've rubbed the belly for good luck. You'll be curious. In fact, this is not the Buddha of Buddhism, the religion. It's actually a Chinese character called Budai. And for our older youth, we're going to have some game nights on our Friday nights. Catan, anyone? I know some of our older high schoolers are like pulling out their hair right now thinking about some of the games we've played in the past. And we'll also be learning a little bit about our carbon footprints. And on Sundays, we'll have circle conversations and service projects for older youth to plug you in and make an impact.
And of course, our nursery will be open for students under the age of 4, and our program begins next Sunday. We have a table set up at the back of the social hall. Please come back and look at some of our materials there. And as always, we look for some folks that we can offer a limited time exclusive opportunity to volunteer for us this year. We could use some teachers, some chaperones, some folks to help out with fundraisers. So please remember that, and remember the 2 words that we talked about earlier today, continuance. We want to continue the thing that we have going on right now into the future. And The way that we do that is through our young people, of course. And also solace. We want to think of our congregation where young people can come at least once a week, at least 1 hour a week, and find some solace from the very troubled world that's around them today. So I look forward to seeing all of you at the back of the table today. And I'll close with a quote from Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Thank you.
And just a small note that we do have backup plans for online things in that case. Thank you, everyone.
Our closing music for today's Water Communion is a chant I wrote for the UUCC called Waters of Spirit. And Scott, if I can share your words of solace and continuity, this song actually began last year and found its finish today. May we all reflect on what we share and what we hold dear and the water that connects us all. Waters of Spirit carrying me, all rivers flow to the eternal sea. Waters of earth, may we learn your way. Show us your peace as we gather today. Sweet bubbling river, sparkling in sun, over the rocks, bends and hard spots you run. Ocean in grandeur, beauty so vast. May we like tides venture out and come back. When we in wonder seek out our place, water, she calls us back home on this day. Hear our communion, water we share. May we feel held in an infinite care.
Thank you, Anna. As Emilio reminded us earlier, our bodies are predominantly water. So as we extinguish our chalice today, may we leave this place as vessels of water, bringing life, support, and hope to all around us.
May the blessings of truth be upon us. May the power of love direct us. And may the peace of this community sustain us till we meet again.
Thank you. This concludes our service, and just a reminder that we have some spaces set up outside if you would like to gather for some social time. There are some tables and chairs and areas you can stand, maybe a little bit in the shade out there as well. And if you're visiting with us, please, if we haven't had a chance to say hello, give us that opportunity. Thank you for being a part of the service today.
Thank you, Water Keeper.